Now you get to be around special young men who are trying to achieve the same exact thing that you did, as in go to the NFL, go to college. How does it feel now being a coach, being able to help these young men during this important time in their life where they're dream chasing for the NFL?
Okay, well, yeah, it's it's a blessing to be in a position to help these young men because, like I said before, I was trying to figure out how to make the right choices. I was trying to figure out how to go in the right direction, and I remember having pro players come and talk to us from time to time, and you know. Do good in school, listen to your parents. We have this, the speech. It's always out there, and it's so true. Once you get older, you really understand that.
Yeah.
It means a lot if you do those things. Because if you don't, you set yourself up for a hard road. So I just kind of went a little bit more deeper into it. Being a ex-pro player, you kind of get their ear, and what I wanted and probably needed from the pros from the past who came and spoke, I need them to get personal. So I get personal. I want to talk to you. I'm going to interact with you. I'll sit down and we can talk. So I'm like, this is why you have to do those things. I'm going to share my story. I screwed up big time. I made it to the NFL. I think I did well. But I could have done so much more. You never get that time back.
Gotcha.
You never get that time back. So be the best student that you can be. Work as hard as you can. Take advantage of your opportunities while you can, because you cannot go backwards.
Yeah.
You cannot go back and get it. So you cannot be mad at anyone, upset at anyone for you not being successful when you didn't put your all into it. And so that's how I operate.
Yeah, and they got it from you. You've done it. You've done
indeed.
it. So everything you say is valid. Switching gears, kind of getting to an incident that happened a couple years ago, which resulted in you canceling the football game. I don't even want to use the word forfeit because I don't think a forfeit should have came to that point where they gave you a forfeit. But as a coach, you have to make the decision on playing Cathedral Catholic after what I believe was a picture of a shirt reading Catholic versus, I don't even want to say it, was exposed to all of us through the internet. Catholics, meaning Cathedral Catholic, are Catholics, and just a bad representation of Lincoln High School. In my opinion, the shirt was disrespectful to my community. It was disrespectful to me. And in my opinion, it was a representation on how a group of people think about my community and me. As a coach, what was your initial reaction to the whole situation, finding it out about the T-shirt? And then I know there's a lot of stuff, but how did you come into the final conclusion on not playing the game?
Well, there's a lot of things surrounding, that game and that situation. And I look at it as a kid making a bad choice. Kids we make bad choices. We have to, we can choose our actions, but not the consequences. Is what I always say. A young man made a bad choice by wearing that shirt. It was a shirt that actually stemmed from, like I said, my dream school was University of Miami, and Notre Dame. Catholics versus convicts, and that's what it was back then. And they made light of it, and made it into like a funny situation. But when that was directed towards us, we took it as very offensive, and it was apologies. It was poor taste. It was poor taste, and apologies came, and I was willing to accept the apology for it, because I don't think everyone understood the meaning of it. But and like you said, as a community member, and things like that, I couldn't accept the apology on behalf of the community. You understand? So the community was very angry. I myself was very angry, I understand in football we go back and forth. Sometimes we say things, we try to get under people's skin and different things like that. It's part of the game. But there's times when it goes too far. And this went too far. And that's actually is a part of the reason that I got this award here. We had to make some decisions. It started with a player of mine's mom calling me late that night, and she was like, "Coach Dunn, my son's extremely, I can't get him out the car. He's hurting." And I was like, "Hey, the young man played a heck of a game. He played on both sides of the ball. He played over 100 snaps. So he's probably exhausted." She said, "No, Coach Dunn, it's not about the game itself, not the physical game, it's the mental part." Not only the things that were said to him, being called, being called dumb and stupid, and you go to this stupid school, and racial slurs that was being mentioned, not only towards him but towards different nationalities on my team, Hispanic kids, African American kids. I'm wondering why my kids are so angry. They're so angry. They're crying out on the field. They're upset. It was poor taste. It went too far, and it came at a time where we were still fresh coming off the George Floyd situation.
Incident. Yeah, so it was.
So it was already very touchy with men of color.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
And there was things that were transpiring in that game that was not okay. I remember an official at the time, I'm on the field asking, why are you throwing so many flags on my guys, but you're talking to their guys? It was not a fair, it was not a fair environment at all. Now, I can take a butt whooping, and I've taken them before, but this was just an unfair environment, and it was unsafe for what my kids were going through. And I remember talking to that official, and I'm going to ask him, what is the problem? And he gave me this look, man. He gave me this look where I probably would have been thrown out of coaching. He gave me this look that resembled the look we had all watched during the pandemic. That image of George Floyd being kneeled on, and the way that they looked into that camera.
Yeah.
And I felt that it was basically saying, "What are you going to do about it?" And I took that so personal because it was just a lot, man. We had to sit and watch that, firsthand. But just throughout the shirt was very tasteless, and like I said, I think it was just inappropriate for the times.
I agree.
I talked to my kids about it. I was very upset about it. And of course, as a community, what we wanted to do was retaliate. That's the first thing that come to mind, retaliate. And it's so much that it was so many things, man, that went through my head personally as a man, as a leader, as a mentor. I was like, how do we deal with this? This mom was asking me, she said, "Coach Dunn, why do we have to continue to put our kids in those type of situations?" And my answer to her was, we don't. We don't. We do have a choice. We don't have to continue to put our kids in that situation. And I said, I promise you right now tonight that I will not put them in that type of situation until we can get better. And that was my mindset moving forward. I talked to the kids about it and how it affected them and how it affected people in the community. People would drive by and say, "How are we going to handle that situation? How are we going to do that?" And so it bothered us for a while. And for us to come back and have, we're both undefeated in the league.
Yeah.
It's going to be game of the week. Destroying the social media outlets. Everybody's coming down. 2 million viewers. Everybody wants to see this game, but it became so much more than a game.
More than a game, yeah.
Hey, how are we going to handle this game down here? Is it going to be extra security? Is it going to be extra this? Do we need to bring in outside security? It's going to be I'm looking at all these things, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is a situation where we were victims.
It sounds like everybody's forgot about what happened.
And so I'm looking at all the media coming in and saying, hey, why is all this extra security? Why are all these police here? Why is it's looking like a hostile environment? And it would have been. And then I'm thinking about some of the things that I heard in the community that the shirts were being made on our side that was very inappropriate. You know, they have no right to say, you know, Catholics versus convicts and view everyone here as convicts or whatever the case may be. That's not okay. But it's still not okay for our community to you know, put up a shirt that says,